So, I was just listening to a radio program on NPR, and they were talking about the Garden of Eden, and there are a lot of references to the tree of knowledge, and maybe Eve, it was some joke, if she had something else to eat, instead of spoiling her appetite with the apple, right? They often make jokes about that knowledge is something to be evil. It's only how you use knowledge. In fact, we were guided to eat that apple from nature herself, to understand the way the way the enemy understands, the one that has taken over our planet and our world. And honestly, we weren't ready for understanding of darkness because it gave us the knowledge of that too. Spiritually, soulfully, we weren't ready. But knowledge is never to be it's never to be taken from us. It's never to be guarded. We should gradually build up to knowledge of the truth, but things should always be set in order for you to understand good and evil. Really, you should be taught even at the most, childlike level, so you can know, good and evil, so you won't perjure yourself, because if you don't have the knowledge, you're going to do evil without knowing it. That's why they call it ignorance. So Eve kind of took it upon herself to not be in ignorance. Like, it was a question posed to challenging the gods, the higher order, that possibly he or they lied to humankind, that they just don't want to get the powers, which is true. That was actually true. The false part of it was that you won't die. So there was a kind of withholding. I mean, you could look at it two different ways. Withholding, the die part is the lie, because we do die, because knowing that we ate the apple, that we kind of crossed the gatekeeper, our maker, in a sense, that we were going to be punished in the worst way, because our gods are reptilians. So they're very reptilious. They're genetic engineers, and so they come to this earth and they tamper with our DNA. So they were going to punish us in the worst way. They were going to shorten our years and give us the awareness of dying. Before, we were like animals. We weren't aware that we were going to die, because animals die, but we didn't have the awareness of that. So that's what that meant. We were going to die regardless, but now we have the awareness of death. So just something to think about. And the tree of life really is like a universal thing. It's being able to use your knowledge to go into a spiritual dimension, to tap into a pure universe and get the energy of that, to always renew your soul body, your inner soul energy. Because if you have abundant energy, you can always keep this body healed, right? Like, you could always keep this body intact. So that's the greater secret. So it's not so much about eating things, or it's just more like a metaphor for consciousness. Eve's dealing with the snake was about touching consciousness, because it's a metaphor, because the snake represents wisdom, or like a type of consciousness of knowing more. So, and they usually kind of refer to a type of light energy too. So basically, her interaction with the snake is what gave her this knowledge of how everything works, the world works. So you just have to use this knowledge wisely and try to use the best positive principles and do your best, and try to enact a spiritual principle so you don't perjure yourself and you don't commit evil, because we all know evil. We all should know evil. Most of us do anyway. I believe there are souls on the planet who are still kind of left in the dark, or have lost themselves completely, gave up their light completely, so they're really just operating on like a certain level. But they can get their light back too. They can get their understanding back too. It's just a way of working. It's all going back to spirituality. Working with spirituality is really working with the universal energy, working with chi, working with feng shui, using your mind to kind of cultivate that within your inner body. So you can't stop looking for help on the outside all the time. So you have to come from within and cultivate your energy from within, and connect to your spiritual higher powers, because you do have other higher energy bodies. And just know not to connect to reptilians. Try to really make your consciousness as pure as it can be, and really keep reverberating on this morality tip for your mind, So when you do spiritual work, because you're going to be kind of vulnerable, right? You don't attract, or you know, your frequency is so high with what you're doing in your life already. When you do your spiritual meditation, it's very hard for them to come in. Like, they're not going to be able to tamper with you. You're going to be able to attract positive energies and connect to higher star systems and the universal tree of life, universe matrix, and get that energy to keep renewing your body, your soul body inside your body, your spirit body, which is your energy body, your emotional body, mental body, your whole physical thing. So just wanted to say something. We were pretty much tricked in the garden. They don't like to reveal that or talk about it. You just have to really think about it and meditate on it. There is propaganda, spiritual propaganda, even in a world that, or a system that doesn't want to be spiritual, right? It's all in the language. Like, they try to make it seem like, you know, we messed up, so we have to have this guilt trip and shame for the rest of our existence. No, it's about evolution. This is a soul evolution planet. We need to get better. We need to get higher. Everything dies. It's a part of nature. It's part of change. Change is the truth of the universe. Everybody goes back to God, which is the universe, or the goddess. It's the truth. I mean, there are immortals. The reptilian vampires are immortals, but you can't and you shouldn't want to be like them, because that's actually, they stagnate their energy, and then it's because they don't change very often, it's very quick for them to perjure their soul body. So then they're going to be in a worse state than you are, right? So you have the ability to come back when you're reincarnated with always being good and having this good energy, and you know, so you don't want to have pain and suffering. So you always want to try to keep cultivating a good soul, a good body, a good soul body, spiritual body, and then start accumulating spiritual powers in your next life. You're gonna always be stronger. So you have to, basically, it's about doing. This is learning. This is no joke. This is a learning planet. You have to keep learning and building up skills here, because that does transfer to the next life. Even if you don't remember, you can't connect up your sub-mind to your conscious mind, you're still going to have innate abilities and talents. Like, wow, I'm, you know, good at this, and I didn't even realize it. You play the piano for one time in your life and you're like a master. Well, maybe you've been playing the piano for a couple of lifetimes. That's why you're drawn to it. So it is about, you know, building yourself up. But I just wanted to say that the Garden of Eden is intentional. Don't be ashamed of your knowledge, higher knowledge. Just get spiritually and mature for yourself to realize that you have to use your knowledge for good. We are more responsible now than ever because we are aware of knowledge and how it works. You can't misuse it. So just want to say that.